All right, here we go. Matt Norlander back in. All right. Okay. What just happened? Let's start there.
We have history here. We have the 15th seed into the Sweet 16 for the second time in the history of the NCAA tournament. The other time was Dunk City, 2013, Florida Gulf Coast. I got to admit, like, I'm of two minds on this right now in the moment as we're reacting in real time. This is all phenomenal and making up for no tournament in 2020, but this doesn't feel nearly as shocking as Dunk City in 2013. And maybe it's because Florida was like an underwhelming 7 seed that wasn't relevant most of the season and was kind of up and down. Like the win over Ohio State, that's the big one, right? And then this one, it's wild. I mean, Oral Roberts was able to just kind of swoop in through the back door in the final 3 minutes of this game and just pluck it right from Florida's hands there.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that's a good point by you. And my theory has been when Kentucky's down, people just kind of assume then that the SEC is down because they're not used to seeing Alabama, win and dominate. They're not used to seeing some of these other teams. I know Florida obviously had a run with back-to-back national championships, but it's not the same thing as Duke or North Carolina or one of those schools. So when you see Florida, who most people, you do this for a living, most people probably didn't watch Florida play all year, and they see them as a 7 seed, they sort of go, it's not the sexy game of the day. But again, that's why I sort of try to put it in perspective and say, Florida was the biggest favorite today of any team that played today, and they went down. So how is Oral Roberts doing this? Who are they?
Well, they're the Cinderella team of the tournament for sure. Now, we'll wait and see what Abilene Christian can or can't do on Monday here. Let me check the stats as we go in real time here. Oral Roberts, Max Asmus is the name to know. He is a pro. Now, him and Kevin O'Banner are the leading duo in all of college basketball. In this game, O'Banner had 28. Asmus had 26. I actually spoke with Florida coach Mike White earlier on Sunday, said we're going to throw every single thing we have at those guys defensively. You still couldn't stop them. It's a great day for Baylor. Scott Drew, his coaching tree. Paul Mills, Oral Roberts' coach, former Baylor assistant, who was actually on the bench when Baylor was victim to some big upsets there. To get them there, get this team into the Sweet 16. This is what the tournament is all about. In fact, what's wild is Oral Roberts was one of the first teams to get into Indianapolis. It was among the first 2 or 3 teams to actually land and get there and get settled. And, you figure, okay, we're in. Hopefully we can win a game, shock the world. They're staying 5-6 more days. I want to know the real story is I want someone to ask Paul Mills how much he and his players actually packed. Like, did they really pack for a second weekend, or is someone going to have to get some new laundry, some new clothes, some more deodorant, some more food? Like, this is a wonderful, wonderful story. And now we've got Arkansas versus Oral Roberts. I'm trying to tap into my dome here, EK. I'm pretty sure these schools played earlier this season and Arkansas won. I think that happened. They scheduled each other earlier this year, so we actually have a random rematch there. But this is great. And you know what? This kind of thing, I know you're saying your belief, EK, and I agree with you. The first weekend's about the small guys, the second weekend and after about the big guys. But I like chaos in my bracket, and my take is we always have enough big guys in the Sweet 16. It is always better for the tournament to have 1 or 2 true Cinderella stories, 13s, 14s, 15s that make it to the second weekend. We've only ever done it once before with the 15. That was Dunk City. Oral Roberts hit the leading scorer in the nation, Max Asmus, along with Kevin O'Banner for a wonderful 1-2 punch. I cannot wait to see that team play Arkansas.
By the way, you are correct. See, this is why we have you on. 87-76. Arkansas won. They did have to rally a little bit to beat them. It was in December. It was in Fayetteville. Justin Smith had 22, a career-high 17 rebounds. So that's sort of your little box score. Does the fact that they play earlier, does that help Arkansas, or does that help Oral Roberts in your mind?
You know what? I think it's probably going to help Oral Roberts because that was a real competitive game there, and they gave him a good push. But Oral Roberts, they had to play it at Fayetteville. It's going to be a neutral court in Indianapolis. They know they can play with this team, and it's always a house money situation for a 16, 15, 14, 13, no matter what. Once you get into the second weekend, I know that coaching staff is going to try and have to remain focused and keep their team absolutely motivated, and they will be. But you become this. Everyone's going to want to have Paul Mills on their shows. The players, they're going to be a huge story. Like, I'm going to be going to Indianapolis, and Oral Roberts will be among my 2 or 3 premier beats, if you will, in my opinion, once I get there, because who doesn't want to cover this story? You know, this Loyola getting back to the Sweet 16, that right side of the bracket right now is giving us just some amazing, amazing stories. For Florida, this is, I mean, it's heartbreaking that you're given what you think is a gift in a 15th. That's a lot of people, even if you're masked up, by the way. What are we doing, Oral Robert? That's a lot of people, okay?
What I want to know is, here's what I want to know. How did they get the disco lights in there to be flashing like that? Like, who just has a room that's outfitted like that? Multicolor going everywhere? I didn't know they partied it down like that at Oral Roberts. By the way, Oral Roberts was up 10 at the half. And then Arkansas got serious and hung 57 on him in the second half, outscored him by 21. Ace missed just 11 points in the game. So if you're looking at maybe past or forward, but I mean, it was in December. It seems like an eternity ago. Teams grow up, teams get play, people are hot now, people are in the zone. I think the one thing is, being down 10 at the half, Arkansas will know to take this team very, 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 very seriously. I kind of think if I was a little guy, I don't want to give him a first look at me. You know what I mean? I don't want to give him a shot to actually see me. I want him to all week long be like, all right, Arkansas, here we are. All right, who we play after that? Oh, we're going to get Baylor to go to this Final Four, and don't even think about me and not already have a book on me. But I think in this case, Arkansas does. So how about style of play? I mean, how does that work out? Arkansas's got a pro too, or Roberts has a pro. What do you see as just sort of a little preview matchup here?
Well, Arkansas loves to get up and down the floor. We saw what it was able to do in a compelling game against Texas Tech that Texas Tech actually slowed down there. Oral Roberts, it wants to try and make you go. So Florida, to a certain extent, had a little bit of success there. But Oral Roberts wants to go. That has a great opportunity to be highly entertaining. The same way that Arkansas Colgate in the first round, even though Arkansas pulled away, similar team, Oral Roberts. Not as good as Colgate. It's got more weapons, and we see what it can do there. But the 1-2 between A. Smith and O'Banner is phenomenal. So I don't know what they're going to set the total on that game is, but that has a real shot of being okay, you want to go? Let's go. First to 90 wins kind of deal there. Because, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I do think that Oral Roberts will have a shot. And here's all you can ask for, is we're going to head into this. It played them competitively. And so while more people than not will pick Arkansas to win the game, obviously, and Arkansas will be predicted to win the game, it will actually be a real question. Like, we've seen what this team did against Ohio State. We saw what they did against Florida. And now they're going against an Arkansas team. Who's to say they can't do it again and become the first 15 ever to reach the Elite Eight? But that's for next weekend. For here and now, we just celebrate this team, this moment, this tournament. It is delivering. It is over-delivering. And it's cosmic. It's karmic. We deserve this after no tournament in 2020 to get this kind of chaos and true madness in the bracket. And the night's not even over.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.